We are moving on to 2.4a. We're going to make this a two-part lesson. The first part, we are going to solve multi-step equations with variables on both sides. That's the first part. Tomorrow's lesson, you're going to get something crazy where you're going to see things like no solution or all real numbers. It'll look like that. So your learning target today, you can solve multi-step equations with variables on both sides of the equal sign. That's your target today. All right, so I'm just going to give you the steps, and then you're going to have to see me explicitly work through the examples. First things first. What is the most important thing that we have learned so far? Jasmine, what do you think? Simplify is important, yes, but order of op style. What is the most important order of operations? Parker? Distribute. That's the first thing we do. We distribute if we need to. Notice if needed. Sometimes you don't need to distribute. That's our first plan of attack. Distribute if we have to. Second, we combine like terms on both sides of the equal, no, on the same side of the equal sign. So we combine like terms on the same side of the equal sign. That's part of simplifying. Third, we're going to move the variable to one side of the equal sign. The variable is going to be on both sides. In order to get the variable by itself, it needs to be on one side. So we're going to move the variable to one side of the equal sign. And then lastly, we solve. Just a reminder with solving, when I say solve, that's a normal two-stepper. When you move what's not connected, and then you move what is connected. Now I know these are kind of elementary terms, but for me, I'm a visual person. I like to see, okay, what's not sticking to the x? That's what I'm going to do first. What is sticking to the x? That's what I'm going to do second. So, first distribute. Second, combine like terms on the same side of the equal sign. Third, we move the variable to one side. Fourth, we're going to solve. When I say solve, I mean move what's not connected and then move what is connected. All right, next slide. I'm just going to start doing examples. Okay, working through these first two examples, I'm going to do it independently. You write down, but I'm going to explain my process. I'm just modeling through the steps. First, I'm going to distribute. So I'm going to distribute my 2. 2 times 5 is 10x, minus 2 times 1 is 2, is equal to 3x plus 33. That was my first step. Second step says to combine like terms on the same side of the equal sign. So that means when I say same side, I have two sides of the equal sign. Two sides. I can't combine like terms here. There's nothing I can do. And I can't combine like terms on this side, so I'm done. Third step says to move the variable to one side. So I have the variable on both sides. I'm just going to rewrite this quick so you can see my process. So I'm going to move this 3x over to the left-hand side. Now it's like a positive 3x, so to move it, I'm going to subtract 3x. If I remember, algebra is about balance. If I subtract 3x on this side, I'm going to subtract 3x on the left side. Notice that I aligned it with the x term. I aligned it with the x term because that's part of combining like terms. 10x, take away 3x, we are left with 7x. I'm going to go ahead and do plus a negative right there, plus a negative 2 is equal to 33, because that canceled out. Now I solve. Solve. Move what's not connected, move what is connected. Okay, so I'm going to subtract a negative 2. When I subtract, what am I really doing? Adding. So I get 7x is equal to 35. Divide by 7, x is 5. Okay, this next one, I have quite a few things I need to do. I'm just going to follow my steps. First, second, third, fourth, okay? First step says to distribute if needed. All right, I need to, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to change this to plus a negative 4 right away. Now I just rewrite 4a minus 2a plus 4 equals distributing my 2. 2 times a is 2a plus 2 times negative 4 is a negative 8. That's step 1. Step 2 says to combine like terms on the same side of the equal sign. You don't do the opposite on this step. Okay, you just do some normal combining. You only do the opposite when you move things over. Okay? So, I have the left side of the equal sign and I have the right side. The left side, it looks like I can combine the a's. So 4a, take 2a away, I have 2a left over. Plus 4 is equal to 2a plus a negative 8. Uh-oh. This one I can already see. It's going to be a preview of tomorrow's lesson. I already see something's going to happen. Third step. Get the variable to one side. So I usually move my variable to the left side is what I personally do. So I subtract 2a. Now watch what happens. 2a, take away 2a, how many do I have left? I have nothing. I have nothing. And so I'm only left with 4. 4 is equal to, I have nothing here, a negative 8. Whoa. Can that happen?
Yeah.
No, that's false. 4 does not equal negative 8, so you actually say no solution. If it's false, and that's tomorrow's lesson, it just kind of slipped into today's. If it's false, it's a no solution. If the variable all of a sudden disappears, you're either going to get a false statement or a true statement. All right, next one. First thing we're going to do, distribute if needed. Distribute if needed. So, I do need to distribute. 7 times 2 is 14y, plus 7 times 1 is 7, equals 5y minus 20. That's step 1. Yep, you can turn this right away to plus a negative. That's a great idea. I like doing that too. I'm getting more and more into plussing a negative. Okay, second step says to combine like terms on the same side of the equal sign. So I have the left side, there's nothing I can combine. The right side, nothing I can combine. Third step, move the variable to one side. I'm going to move my 5y over. Since it's a positive 5y, I'm going to subtract 5y. If I subtract 5y on the right, I'm going to subtract 5y on the left. Notice that I aligned it up with the y's. 14y, take away 5y, I'm at 9y, plus 7 equals a negative 20. Okay? 14 minus 5 is 9y. The plus of 7 comes down because it didn't get canceled out. Equals come down. 5y, take 5y away, I have nothing left on this side. And then the negative 20 just comes down. Now, I solve. Move what's not connected, my 7, And now I'm going to subtract 7 over here. And I get 9y. Keep in mind that when we subtract 7, we're adding a negative 7. Negative 20 plus negative 7 is negative 27. Divide through by 9. Y is equal to a negative 3. That's me dividing both sides by 9. All right. The next one, I want you to distribute independently. We'll come back together. I want you to distribute this next one and try to get the variable to one side. Okay. Coming back. First thing, step 1. Again, if I feel stuck, I just look at step 1. Step 1 says distribute. Do it. Don't get overwhelmed with the whole process. Do one step at a time. So the first thing I'm going to do is to distribute. This is a plus a negative 5. So 3 times q is 3q plus 3 times negative 5 is a negative 15 is equal to 2q plus 10. That's step 1. I didn't get overwhelmed with the process. I just followed that first step. Second step, combine like terms on the same side of the equal sign. So I have the right side, the left side. There's nothing I can combine on that left side. And I have the right side. Nothing I can combine there. So I can't do anything. So now I move to step 3. Get the variable to the left side, or right, or whichever side you like it. So I'm going to subtract 2q to move it over. 3q, take 2q away, I'm left with 1q, which is just q. Plus a negative 15 I still have is equal. The q's cancel out, and I'm just left with 10. Now I gotta move that negative 10. The operation is plus, so to move plus, I subtract the inverse. I subtract a negative 15. When I subtract a negative, what am I doing? I'm doing a plus 15, and I get q is 25. I know I am done because my variable is alone. That's how you always know when you're done, is that variable is all by itself. Okay, last example we're going to do, because this one is tomorrow's lesson. I'm going to give you a minute to independently go through, and then we'll come back together again. All right, next one's a doozy, again. But I'm not going to be overwhelmed. I'm going to follow it step by step, okay? First step, distribute. I do need to distribute. I need to distribute 2 times, right? Look at that. 7 times 6 is 42. Maybe should I turn that to plus a negative? 7 plus 7 times negative 2 is a negative 14a equals 5 times negative 3 is a negative 15a plus 5 times 1 is 5. Oh, there we go. Step 1 done. Still looks ugly, doesn't it? All right, move the variable to one side. I'm partial to moving it to the left. Okay, so I'm going to move this negative 15. In order to get rid of it, I would add 15a. If I add 15a to the right, I'm going to add 15a to the left. I'm still left with 42. Negative 14 plus 15 is just 1, or just a. 1a or a. Maybe I'll write 1a to help. Is equal to a positive 5, because that canceled out. Now I'm going to move my 42. If you ever get stuck, how do I move it? Think inverse of the operation. My operation is adding. The inverse of